Ah, Bingo, our sweet, lovable, slightly mischievous little healer pup. But what was she like before she became the bingo-loving Bingo we all know and adore? This is where a flashback episode would absolutely shine. Imagine tiny, roly-poly baby Bingo waddling around the house, occasionally toppling over like a miniature bowling pin. Maybe she had the kind of giggle that could make even Bandit stop mid-shenanigan so he could soak in the cuteness. A flashback episode with her earliest days would be so amazing. Who knows if Bingo was the quiet one as a baby, just observing the world with wide, curious eyes, probably plotting all the chaos she'd unleash later. Or maybe she was a little drama queen, crying for no reason just because she could. Come on. We've all seen babies hit the waterworks over literally nothing. It would be hilarious to see Bandit and Chili desperately trying to understand her baby babble. Does Gagoo mean she's hungry or that she needs her diaper changed? This could also get us to understand how Bandit and Chili adapted to having a second child. Did Bandit immediately start playing his now famous dad on all fours games with Bingo? Or did it take him a while to figure out how to make her laugh? Maybe Bluey was the one who cracked the code first, inventing her own baby games to entertain her new little sister. And let's not forget those milestone moments every parent obsesses over: Bingo's first crawl, her first steps, her first word. What if Bingo's first word was something super funny and random, like smelly? Or maybe she skipped straight to a full sentence like, "Dad, can I have a snack?" There's also the chance to show baby Bingo's early personality quirks. Did she have a favorite toy she wouldn't let go of? Did she make a habit of crawling into Bandit's lap during his downtime and demanding attention with those big, pleading puppy eyes? You know, Bandit would have been a total softie for that. These moments would give us a deeper appreciation for Bingo's journey, from baby to the confident, creative pup she is now. And let's not underestimate the cuteness factor here. Baby Bingo could single-handedly break the internet. Imagine her in a tiny onesie, staring at the camera with those soulful eyes. If this episode happens, it's game over for all of us. We're officially adopting Bingo as our collective child. Ah, the Healers, arguably the most relatable, hilarious, and slightly chaotic family on TV. We know and love the family dynamics we've seen so far, but a flashback episode has the potential to crank up the wholesome comedy to a whole new level. We could go into Bandit and Chili's early days as parents, trying to juggle two young pups, all while maintaining their sanity. First off, we need to see Bandit and Chili's rookie parenting moments with baby Bingo. Bandit's known for being the goofy, endlessly patient dad now, but was he always like that? Or did he go through an awkward learning curve where he mistook a teething toy for a remote and spent an entire episode trying to figure out why the TV wouldn't turn on? Picture him on all fours as usual, but instead of being the horse, he's fumbling with a diaper and muttering, "How does this go on? She's got a tail, for crying out loud." And as for Chili, let's be real, she's the glue holding this family together. But maybe back in the day, she had moments of questioning her life choices, like with baby Bingo spilling mashed carrots all over her freshly cleaned fur. A flashback episode would show us her finding her rhythm as a mom, balancing her nurturing side with her sharp wit. You know she'd have one-liners for days about Bandit's attempts to multitask. "Bandit, I said burp the baby, not teach her to bark like a dingo." Now maybe Bluey was overly helpful at first, insisting on carrying Bingo everywhere, even when Bingo clearly didn't want to be carried. And what about the first time Bingo got her revenge by pulling Bluey's ear or stealing her favorite toy? Those moments would show us the foundation of their crazy sibling bond, as they're equal parts love and mischief. This flashback episode could also show how Bluey and Bingo's dynamic evolved over time. Was Bluey always the bossy yet endearing older sister? Did Bingo have a rebellious streak as a baby, refusing to nap just to test Bluey's patience? The possibilities are endless, and every scenario is definitely going to be a perfect mix of chaos and cuteness. Let's not forget Nana and Uncle Stripe. They'd definitely pop in for some added comic relief. Nana must have tried babysitting Bingo once and ended up so exhausted she swore never to do it again. Or Uncle Stripe could show up with some hilariously impractical gift for baby Bingo, like a pogo stick or a mini surfboard, leaving Bandit to mutter, "Why can't you just bring nappies like a normal uncle?" A flashback episode would also give us a glimpse into how this family became the tight-knit unit we love today. Sure, they've had their messy, sleep-deprived moments, but at the heart of it all, there's so much love, laughter, and teamwork. Fans would get to see the origins of their family traditions, from their silly games to all the wholesome bedtime routines. So really, exploring the Gila family dynamics in a flashback episode would be like opening a time capsule filled with laughter, love, and a few chewed-up toys. It would remind us that even the most beloved TV families started somewhere, usually in a pile of diapers, sleepless nights, and baby giggles that make it all worth it. And honestly, isn't that what makes them so real? Back to the star of the actual show, Bluey. The moment every older sibling remembers or exaggerates, finding out they're no longer the star of the show. For Bluey, learning she was about to have a baby sister must have been like discovering her favorite game of Keepy Uppy just got a rule book with exciting parts and slightly alarming parts too. Imagine Bluey processing this earth-shattering news. Wait, Mum and Dad, are you saying I have to share my toys and my parents? The potential for premium comedy here is limitless. You can just see Bluey in her toddler glory, proudly declaring herself the best big sister ever before Bingo was even born, and immediately deciding on a list of big sisterly duties. Naturally, these included teaching Bingo how to bark, how to win at Shadowlands, and how to demand ice cream after dinner. But her bubble might have burst the first time she realized that being a big sister also involved some not-so-fun things, like listening to endless crying, dodging smelly nappies, and realizing that the new baby's cute status was stealing all the attention. Or also, maybe the first time she saw baby Bingo, Bluey gave her a little poke and said, "She's not much fun yet, is she?" Cue Bandit chuckling and trying to explain that babies take some time to grow into playmates. Bluey might have replied with a very Bluey-esque, "Well, she better hurry up. I have a tea party scheduled at 2. And then there's the question of sharing. Bluey must have had her first ever meltdown when Bingo reached for one of her favorite toys. Maybe it was her iconic xylophone, and Bluey went full toddler lawyer, pointing out, "This is mine." She doesn't even know what it does. But Bingo, being the quiet schemer we know her to be, probably gave her big sister those adorable baby eyes and ended up with the xylophone anyway. This is where Bandit and Chili would swoop in with one of their legendary life lessons about kindness, patience, and how babies drool on everything, so maybe let her keep the xylophone for now. As Bingo grew, Bluey's big sister instincts likely kicked into high gear. She would have taken on the role of protector in the most Bluey way possible, insisting on being the one to test every toy for safety by playing with it first, for hours. And can we talk about the first time Bluey tried to help with Bingo's nap time? Imagine her sitting by Bingo's cot, whispering, "It's okay, Bingo, you don't have to nap, we can play instead." Cut to Bandit or Chili walking in, realizing Bingo is wide awake, and giggling, while Bluey tries to convince them she's just practicing staying awake. That's a skill, right? Let's also not forget the inevitable sibling mishaps. Bluey probably had a moment where she accidentally knocked over Bingo's baby bottle or tripped over her high chair, leading to a mini-family crisis. But those moments would also highlight her growing sense of responsibility. Flashback episodes could show Bluey learning to apologize, make amends, and even laugh at her own mistakes, a key trait that makes her the lovable goofball we adore today. And what about Bingo's first steps? You know Bluey would have been cheering her on like a tiny sports coach shouting, "Go Bingo, go!" Maybe she even tried to train Bingo to walk faster so they could play games together sooner. Bluey's determination to make Bingo her perfect partner in crime is something fans would love to see in action, whether it's through Bluey's adorable pep talks or her slightly misguided attempts at teaching Bingo how to jump, run, or spin in circles without falling. Ultimately, a flashback exploring Bluey's reaction to becoming a big sister would be equal parts funny, heartwarming, and relatable for anyone who's ever had to navigate siblinghood. It's a universal experience, learning that love doesn't get divided when a new sibling arrives, it multiplies. And if anyone could show us how to do it with a mix of chaos and charm, it's Bluey and her hilarious Healer family. Now let's be honest, nothing melts hearts faster than a baby doing absolutely anything. Just sitting there drooling? Adorable. Falling asleep with their tiny hands in the air? Stop, it's too much. Now imagine Bingo as a baby. The potential for cuteness overload in this flashback episode is just too crazy. Fans of Bluey would lose it over tiny moments like baby Bingo discovering her feet for the first time or making her first wobbly attempts at crawling. Baby Bingo would definitely have her moments of pure, unfiltered baby chaos, for sure. Maybe she decides that smearing mashed bananas on Bandit's face is her new favorite hobby. Then there's the inevitable baby milestone every parent and sibling awaits: the first word. Imagine Bluey sitting next next to baby Bingo, holding up toys and saying, "Say Bluey! Come on, Bingo, say Bluey!" Meanwhile, Bingo's first word ends up being something random like banana, leaving Bluey dramatically declaring, "She's ignoring me on purpose." Bandit would probably swoop in with a joke like, "She's just saving the best for last." And Chili would remind Bluey that Bingo's first words are just the beginning of the fun. And what about baby Bingo's first wobbly steps? It would be so on brand for Bluey to act like a personal coach, encouraging Bingo to walk toward her with over-the-top enthusiasm. Imagine Bluey shouting, "You can do it, Bingo, one step at a time," while Bingo, in true Bingo fashion, casually plops down and starts playing with something on the floor instead. Bluey's dramatic reaction, something like, "Mum, she's not taking me seriously," would have us all laughing. Of course, baby Bingo wouldn't be about the funny moments alone. Flashbacks to her snuggling up with Bluey during nap time or reaching out to grab Bluey's hand for comfort would bring all the feels. These quiet, beautiful moments would remind fans of the bond between the sisters, showing that even from the start, Bingo wasn't just Bluey's little sister. She was her partner in all things, adorable and mischievous. Parenting is already hard enough, but throw in a baby and a highly energetic preschooler and you've got a comedy drama worthy of an award. A flashback episode featuring baby Bingo would be a perfect opportunity to showcase Bandit and Chili navigating the highs and lows of juggling parenthood. And let's face it, every parent watching this would laugh, cry, and say, "Yep, been there." Picture Bandit attempting to rock a crying baby Bingo back to sleep at 2 a.m. while Bluey pops up in the background, wide awake and asking existential questions like, "Why do we sleep, Dad?" Bandit would probably mutter something like, "To recover from moments like this, Bluey," before stepping on a squeaky toy and waking Bingo all over again. Meanwhile, Chili would be the embodiment of multitasking goals. Imagine her making breakfast with one hand, cradling baby Bingo with the other, and still managing to referee Bluey's dramatic monologues about how being the oldest sibling is the hardest job ever. Chili's patience and wit in these chaotic moments would be both inspiring and hilariously relatable. Maybe she throws in a cheeky quip like, "You think being the oldest is hard? Try keeping both of you alive and fed." One of the best things about the Healer parents is how they balance humor with heartfelt parenting. A flashback episode would likely show Bandit and Chili working as a team, swapping off duties like diaper changes and playtime with a crazy level of coordination. Of course, there would be those moments where the coordination hilariously fails, like Bandit realizing mid-diaper change that he's out of wipes and calling for backup while Bingo laughs at his misfortune. And let's not forget the moments of sheer exhaustion. Every parent knows that bone-deep tiredness that comes with caring for a baby, and Bandit and Chili would embody it in the most endearing way. They would collapse on the couch after a long day, only for Bluey to bounce in and declare, "Let's play shops." The look they exchange would say it all. They're tired, but they're also deeply in love with their chaotic little family. First off, you can just picture Bluey's reaction to having a baby sibling for the first time. She's all wide-eyed, gazing at Bingo like she's just discovered the eighth wonder of the world. "She's so tiny. Can she talk yet? Can she play games with me?" Bluey would ask, with that classic mix of curiosity and impatience that only a preschooler can pull off. And when Chili patiently explains that babies mostly eat, sleep, and cry, you just know Bluey's going to take it upon herself to teach Bingo everything she needs to know about the world, which probably includes dancing, yelling wackadoo, and playing games with overly complicated rules. But let's not forget that sibling bonding isn't always sunshine and rainbows. There would undoubtedly be moments of jealousy and misunderstanding, like when Bluey realizes that Bingo gets a lot of attention just for being a baby. Cue a dramatic Bluey declaration. "I was here first. Why doesn't anyone look at me when I burp?" Bandit and Chili, ever the parenting pros, would use their wisdom and humor to smooth things over, turning it into a teaching moment about love, sharing, and how having a sibling means always having a teammate in life. And speaking of teammates, a flashback episode would also highlight the budding partnership between Bluey and Bingo. Maybe there's a scene where Bluey tries to include baby Bingo in her games. Sure, Bingo can't exactly participate in Keepy Uppy or Grannies yet, but Bluey would find a way to make it work. Perhaps she ties a balloon to Bingo's crib and declares her the official referee. Or maybe Bluey insists on narrating Bingo's inner thoughts, saying things like, Bingo says she loves being my sister and also she wants ice cream. Right, Bingo? Over time, everyone would see the small but meaningful ways their bond grows stronger. There might be a scene where Bluey notices Bingo crying and instinctively starts singing to her, making silly faces or playing peekaboo. Bandit and Chili would exchange a proud look, realizing that Bluey is already stepping into her role as a protective, caring big sister. And let's not lie, we would be ugly crying during this moment, clutching our tissues and muttering, "It's just a cartoon. Why am I so emotional?" And to wrap it up, a baby Bingo flashback would pack in all the classic Bluey humor and heart we know and love. It would make you laugh, cry, and then laugh again, all while reminding you why this show is such a masterpiece. If this episode becomes a reality, it's safe to say Bluey fans will be tuning in with high expectations and a box of tissues. So, what are you most excited to see in a Baby Bingo flashback episode? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.